Hello, everyone. Thank you for watching. I have a special guest with me today, again, as all my guests, Manoj Menon, the CEO of CUSP Earth. Hello, Manoj.
Good morning, Walid. It's a pleasure being here and good talking to you as well.
So we spoke earlier a little bit about the CUSP project, but I'll leave you the floor to tell me in short, what is CUSP and what are you trying to do here?
Look, see, CUSP is the first conceived tokenized e-marketplace, and which is powered by our native utility token called the CUSP Green Token. So our mission is predominantly to accelerate transition to clean energy. So as we all know, climate change is a reality today, and governments are working hard to address this big challenge we all are facing for our future generation. So net zero is become a reality, and I think governments have put 2050 as a means of some of the governments, especially UK and the UAE government, and the rest governments have done wants to become carbon neutral by 2050. So CUSP is come into play a role of an accelerator. We can play a small role as an accelerator to help that acceleration to net zero, and much quicker than 2050. That's our objective. And as we know, and again, it's a very broad area in terms of tackling the CO2 reduction. So what we have decided is to focus on one sector, which is the ground transportation sector, which contributes roughly around 23% of the CO2 emission. So we want to see how we can help accelerate the adoption of ICE vehicles, that internal combustion engine, that petrol and diesel vehicles consumers transitioning from that vehicle to electric vehicles. But eventually, what we want CUSP to be is to have in our marketplace all green products, and in the future, probably even sustainable products as well, like in sustainable fashion, right? That's our vision.
Cool. So trying to help governments to reach that phase before 2050. So you're talking about, you've been talking about the launch of the first green token. So what is this token is about, and what is the usability of this token?
Look, see, we are not like any other crypto projects, where typically if you look at any of the crypto projects coming in, there are pre-minted tokens, and the pre-minted tokens are allocated. There are allocations of each of these tokens. Our tokens are effectively only minted when there is a purchase happening in our e-marketplace. So it's not
working with the transformation. Whenever someone transform or move to green, so you're issuing token against that.
Exactly. So effectively, when a consumer goes into our e-marketplace, they make a choice of purchasing a product that has been listed in our e-marketplace. We reward that consumer by issuing a native token, which is absolutely free. Now, our token has also a tokenamics model behind it. So we have a limited amount of tokens that we will mint over a period of a specifically defined period, that is 10 years. As I mentioned, we are coming in as an accelerator. So when we are coming in an accelerator, we want to accelerate this in the next 10 years. So whatever small role that we can play in working with the governments and various stakeholders to help the acceleration to net zero is what we want to do. So these tokens are being minted. For 10 billion tokens will be issued for a maximum amount of 10 years. Now, even these tokens, during the token model that we build, we want to also reward the greenest of greenest products. For example, even in the EV space, or in the electric or battery electric vehicle space itself, there are greener vehicles. So we are rewarding more greener vehicles with more tokens. And these tokens will be issued to the consumers for free. We are also issuing a portion to the other stakeholders like the manufacturers, dealers, traders, whoever wants to come and list their products, they will also get a portion of the tokens. And these tokens are only minted when the purchase is made, and it's completely free. So and we also, and one more thing is, Walid, we also pay for the minting cost. So gas fees that we are, which is the cost for minting the tokens, is absorbed by CUSP as well.
So I learned that you use Polygon for this project and for the token issuing. So any specific reason?
Well, we evaluated various, as you know, look, there has been a lot of backfire on some of the gas fees costs. I talked about gas fees costs. So if you look at the layer 1 Ethereum, the amount of gas fees and the energy consumption is very high. So we evaluated, looked at various protocols, and we came and chose Polygon as the protocol for us to build our token model. And this is purely because it's a layer 2. As well as it is a proof of stake where compared to the proof of work, and the gas fees are also very limited, and it's very energy efficient. And that's the reason why we chose Polygon as a protocol to build our token model.
Fair enough. So how people are gonna use the token in your e-marketplace?
Yeah, that's a very interesting, because, you know, when I launched this product and a lot of questions came in, and look, you're giving these tokens free. This is great. But what is the use of these tokens? Exactly. Look, as I mentioned, we are not pre-minting the tokens. We are not listing these tokens immediately, because this is what a lot of the crypto projects do. So our business model is a noble one, because we want to actually help transition to clean energy. And we need to reward people when they are making those choices of transitioning to clean energy. So once we give the consumers or the dealers or the manufacturers the tokens at the time when they purchase, as a next step is for us to work with the community, right, to build the intrinsic value for these tokens or use of these tokens. And the use of tokens can be numerous. And as we start engaging with the community, that is the manufacturer, the dealers, we will know where these tokens can be used. An example would be, today, a lot of the manufacturers or dealers provide promotions and discounts. So in lieu of those promotion discounts today, they can continue to provide those discounts, because sometimes they may come in only for a particular period of promotion. They can continue to provide the promotion, but in lieu of tokens that they can accept from the consumer who gets these tokens. On the other hand, the dealers or the manufacturers can also use these tokens to acquire customers by rewarding customers for reference. So there are various use cases we are going to build, and we are going to work with the community to help build those use cases. Now, when you talk about the community, another thing that comes to my mind is the utility providers, because charging is one infrastructure that is being built, because this is one of the biggest concerns the consumers have, the range anxiety and so on and so forth. So a lot of governments are putting effort to build the infrastructure, provide the private sector to come in and build those infrastructure. We'll be working with the utility providers and the charge point operators to start looking at accepting our tokens as a means for charging. Look, the payment industry is changing significantly, right? And we are going to see the crypto assets that are out there as a means as payments. And today we are positioning our CUSP tokens to be also as a means of, today it's for exchanging, getting promotions and discounts. But eventually, the future, what it holds, that whole payment landscape, we want to play in that payment landscape to see if CUSP tokens could be also as means of payments that can be used in our ecosystem.
Perfect. So your headquarters are in UK, so you moved, you're having a regional office here in Dubai. So why Dubai?
Well, I have
besides that, you've been in the UAE for a while, so.
So I think that is precisely the reason why UAE, because look, I have spent almost more than 2 decades in the UK. I moved in 2014 to this region. I'm fascinated by the journey and the leadership of the UAE in transforming UAE to where it is today. So technology has become a big piece in UAE, and I have to say that when I was in the banking sector, I was instrumental in building the blockchain platform called UTC. Right, so so blockchain has been developed as a technology in the UAE. So that is one big piece, and that's incentive. And secondly, as you rightly said, 8 years being in the region, I know the region a little bit more. So I felt that this will be the best location, first international location for CUSP to be positioned, be based here. One is to take advantage of the technology that is being developed here and the promotion that the government is giving to develop the blockchain technology as our project is built on the blockchain. And secondly, we also see the regulation framework being developed for the crypto space, that now you have the VARA that has come into place, Virtual Assets Regulatory Authority that is being set up. There's carbon credit exchange being set up in ADGM. So there's a lot of innovations happening here. And we wanted to be at the epicenter of those innovations. And that's the reason why we chose UAE as one of our first international and also one of our technology hubs to be based in the UAE.
Perfect. So my last question, what's next, Manoj? How do you envision this journey and with the roadmap?
Well, this is our journey has just begun, right? It's a very exciting phase. It's a very broad phase. Look, we are headquartered in the UK. So UK is our headquarter. It's very ripe market for what we are doing. Exactly. So we want to play a role in the UK to accelerate that, and also UAE as well. But our vision is, there are two aspects. One is the product development and development of a platform, and new products going to be developed. One is certainly we want to explore the e-marketplace on the metaverse side. And give that experience to the consumers and also the brands to see how an e-marketplace will operate in the metaverse. So that's something that is very much in the product roadmap. We are looking at the other aspect is the whole carbon offsets and carbon credit, how we can look to capture and build a product to support and provide that, given the consumers are transitioning to EVs, how we can help them with capturing what CO2 reduction that they're doing. And so effectively around carbon offsets and carbon credit, that's another product roadmap that we have. So, and building various use cases on our usage of our tokens, as I mentioned earlier. So these are some of them in the product roadmap. Second is the international expansion. Today, we want to deepen UK and the UAE market before we expand into the other markets. So next 24 months, our plan is to be in Europe. So if you look at Scandinavia, Germany as a hub to move across to the EU region, as well as US and India. So these are our initial markets where we have for the next 24-hour roadmap for expansion.
All the best, Manoj. Very nice project. I wish you all the best, and we will be here on next to hear better news and bigger news, hopefully. Thanks you for your time, and I'm sure that my audience will enjoy this video.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Manoj, for your time.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.